Hi everyone, we are here for our first mini lesson with our Dystopian Book Clubs unit. So really quickly, we're just going to go over some of the norms that would be expectations, I guess, for our book clubs. First, book clubs meet regularly, which is why I have you check in with your groups. You don't always have to have tons to say, but you do want to meet regularly just to check in with one another. And then you actually have the meetings where we'll have work due as well. And those are about every week, week to week and a half because of our schedule. You're also going to need to make sure that you come to the meetings prepared. Now, this lesson is intentionally before our first set of book club meetings where you have your lit assignments due. If you come without your lit assignment done, remember the last page of it you're going to work on together in the group, but the rest of it, then you're doing your entire group a disservice. Your job is to be able to help facilitate discussion about the novel that you are reading. So the lit assignment is my way of helping you guys have something to talk about. So you need to make sure that you come to the meeting prepared. Have that lit assignment done through all the stuff that you're supposed to do before the meeting starts. That way you'll have something to contribute to the meeting. You want to make sure that you are going to be talking about the text. Stay on topic. Refer back to the text. You want to get to know this book well. Don't forget, we are going to be using it as our next literary analysis essay book. And I say book, but there's 13 different potential books. So your books will be the focus of your next essay. So you really want to get to know the book well before that happens. Read it thoroughly, do your lit circle, your lit assignments for your book club meetings, and then talk about the text in your groups. Discuss what you think, why you think it. There's not necessarily a right and wrong in what you're curious about, so bring it up. Question some things in the book. Also, make sure that when you are talking about different parts of the text, you want to reference pages in the book. So that way, your group members, if they don't remember what it is that you are talking about, they can go back to that page and scan it and then contribute back as well. You guys will all be running your own meetings, but I will be joining to make sure that everything is going well, especially with the first set of meetings. I really want to make sure that we set those expectations high and that you guys use your meetings to help you really understand the books that you're reading. And then finally, you need to hold each other accountable. The book clubs are only as good as you will make them. So make sure that you use them to your fullest. Don't take them for granted. All right, so now in the novels that you are reading, I have to be generic because there are 13 different novels there, but we want to take a look and see if you notice these things to be true about your books. So, dystopian novels usually are set in a future where things have gone awry. Awry means wrong. Think about your novel. What has gone wrong in that story so far? Your job is to consider how things have gone wrong in the world of your book. Dystopian novels usually have a lot of rules or customs the characters have to follow. So think of the rules that are in there and take note of the way that the rules that they have over their societies, over their people, how do those rules affect the characters, the protagonists, antagonists, whoever else. And sometimes the antagonists are, especially in a dystopia, your antagonists may be part of that government that is wrong, so maybe the rules for them help them maintain power, but they would help or prevent the protagonist from being able to be true to themselves. Who knows? You do. So figure that out for your book. Dystopian novels usually have characters that challenge or break some of the rules or customs of the world. Most likely, that is going to be true of your protagonist. Now, you guys are still in the beginning parts of your story, so your protagonist may not yet have broken the rules, but look for that as you continue to read. That's usually a sign that that person or set of people, they would be the protagonists in the story, is that they have to learn and grow and change, and they will end up challenging the rules of the world. So you want to figure out, how does your protagonist or protagonists, how do they challenge or break the rules in the world? Take note of those. And finally, remember we talked about the different forms of power, the different way power or control is maintained in a dystopian novel. I'm going to switch back to that really quickly. So I went back to our notes from the beginning of the unit. Remember that corporate control, there's one or more organization that might maintain control over society through advertising and the media. Maybe it's bureaucratic control, where society is controlled by a mindless bureaucracy, excessive regulation, incompetent government officials. There could also be technological control. We talked about this in that technology has become sentient or has the ability to think for itself and has decided usually that humanity is not logical enough and therefore takes over control in some way, shape, or form. And then there's also the idea of religious or philosophical control, where society is controlled by philosophical or religious ideology, and that is enforced through a dictator or just a theocratic government. So one of those different modes of control or power is in charge of the society in your story. First, figure out which it is. Then, figure out how your character or characters respond to that control and that power. For all of these things, you might want to take some notes, jot them down on Post-its. You can't write in your books unless they are your own copy, which only like 2 or 3 of you bought your own copies. But I suggest the use of Post-its or maybe a notebook and jot down some of these things so that way you'll have some more to contribute to your book club meeting than what I even have on your lit assignment. You'll have a lot to say. You'll have a lot to discuss. So again, we know that these things are true of dystopian novels. We'll get to session 3 another day. And so you should consider how things have gone awry. How do those rules affect your characters? How do your characters, specifically your protagonist, challenge or break the rules? And how do they respond to the system of power? Take some little notes on that for yourself. Bring them to your book club meeting, as well as your mostly finished lit assignment. The last page of it, of course, is the one that you do with your group. And then you'll make sure that you submit that after your group meets. Okay? Can't wait to see what you all come up with.